this a little bit.
You are live.
All right. Now that we can see the camera.
Welcome everyone inside the chat. This is No Salt BP, and I have a guest with me today.
Hey guys. All right, so we should test, make sure this is working first.
Mm-hmm. We are live. We just have to wait for people to come in. My cell phone.
Oh yeah.
One moment.
Silence all cell phones. I can hear it.
You can hear it?
I can hear it here, but I don't see the mic indicator going up. So
I'm wondering if because I had scheduled the other live stream, if everyone is over there, I can figure out real
Somebody's
quickly. Hey! Hey, welcome to the live stream. Oh, that's Miss Sam I Am. How you doing? It's Sharon and Jason.
So, how's the audio? Can you guys hear us?
Can you hear us, Sam? I can't see the chat room. Because we're using like a web camera and this laptop over here.
We're using two resources here.
She said she can hear us.
Oh,
She
good.
can hear us well. Thank you, Sam.
Right. So this was a good investment then.
Yes, it was.
All right.
This was a long time coming. You know, we had to deal with that panorama situation. Now that's coming back. But I'm here.
Okay, it should be on now, live chat.
Sam, can you share the video out for me, please? Okay, well, let's get started.
Give our mannequin jumping around.
Hey! Hello, welcome to the live stream.
Good.
So, to start this off with, this is Jason. He is a CPR instructor and paramedic, and I'm Sharon, and you guys know that I'm an RN, or No Salt BP. We want to first start with this. This is not a commercial. We're not selling you anything. We're merely providing information for you to make an informed, educated decision. This is a discussion for instructional purposes only. And having said that, let's move.
All right. What's our first topic?
When do you call 911?
I wish we could make that bigger.
I know.
Let me go to the regular screen.
When you have an emergency. Okay.
All right.
Okay, what type of emergency? I think you're in the wrong. If you go out of that. There you go. There you
Now we can see the chat.
We can see you now. We can see you now. What's that echo?
So it was on the wrong link. That's all right. No biggie. Okay, medical or otherwise. That's accurate. What about a nosebleed?
It's
So
or
is that,
echoing. Let's try this. Do you guys hear an echo? So that's up here.
let's try this.
I truly unlearning self. Actually, we can go without the microphones and turn your sound all the way down.
You guys still hear us?
Can you still hear us?
Yes, the echo was loud.
Okay, can you hear us now without the echo?
Okay.
Thanks, Sam. Sam says, medical or otherwise. Well, that doesn't seem to be what's going on. We have a situation where people are not calling 911. So when to call 911, whenever you're in doubt, number one.
When in doubt, always call 911. If you have an incident at home with a family or a loved one or someone you're with, and if ever there's a question, never feel like it's a bother on anyone else to get the opinion of someone who does this every day. Even if it's 2 a.m. and you don't want, lights and sirens at your house, don't let that pull you away from calling and getting someone the help they need.
Is there an echo now?
Yes, there is.
Somebody. Sam, is there an echo? She says no. No, the echo is gone. Okay, thank you.
Okay, great.
Okay. Whenever there's a need,
Whenever there's a need.
whenever someone's like he and I'm talking to you guys, and all of a sudden I do this. Ask me a question.
Hey, Sharon, you all right? Sharon, what year is it? What city are you in? Oh, there's something wrong.
Say, that's when you call 911.
Yeah. If someone's not responding in a normal fashion, that's an opportunity for you to get on the phone and dial 911. Okay.
It's especially if they were previously speaking to you and all of a sudden they stopped or they were doing a speech.
Like recently.
Like Mitch McConnell. That's when you call 911.
I think everyone saw that. It briefly made the news where he just kind of zoned out for a moment. In that case, any medical professional would tell you, hey, that's worth getting evaluated.
Hi, sis Michelle's daughter. Yeah, you want to have that evaluated because you want to call 911. You do not ever put someone in a car with anything that requires emergency attention. And we're going to go to a video. You're only going to get a snippet. And this video is we're using it under the Fair Use Act. The use is for educational purposes.
All right.
Right here.
Police trooper executing that pit maneuver, driving his cruiser into the side of their
we'll
vehicle,
explain what's happening
spinning it
after.
around and stopping the chase.
We got a pit. We got a pit. From what I saw in this video, it looks like it was appropriate. It's a good spot to try this because if the car veers off, there wasn't anyone there or anything there that could be harmed.
The women inside.
Welcome everyone to the live stream.
All right. So in that situation, a family identified an emergency and they threw mom in the car thinking this was the best course of action and speeded off to the emergency room at speeds of over 100 miles an hour. So like normal life, police got involved and started a high-speed pursuit, and they wouldn't stop, obviously, because they wanted to get to the hospital as soon as possible. But the law enforcement, being law enforcement, they're going to stop you from creating another safety hazard for anyone else. So they did the pit maneuver, stopped the vehicle, and this is all, I think it was over 5-10 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes worth of stop, put your hands up, just delaying the care of this lady who was having a heart attack. And truly that is not ideal. So
no, she was having chest pain, any chest pain, shortness of breath, changes in skin color. Now I want to put this out real quick. I'm sorry, someone of my hue will not turn blue. I turn a nice funky shade of gray. Okay.
Yeah, but here's a way I used to ask or figure out that. I would ask another family member, do they look do they look any different from normal? And most of the family members would be like, oh no, she's pale. Okay. So asking someone else when in doubt is always
a good plan. But you want to call 911. You do not want to put a family member, someone that's in crisis, someone that needs immediate emergency attention in the back of a car and drive them to a hospital. That's delaying treatment. And that time that you and you're getting that person to the car, putting them in it, starting it up, driving them to the hospital, time
down.
Time down. Time is muscle, heart muscle, and time is also brain. Yep. So those are the two things that we're looking to save. So 911 cuts through all that, and then you get.
Then here's why you would dial 911. Okay, the same care you're getting in that emergency room, you're getting with the guys that show up to your front door. They come, in dramatic fashion, but they have all the tools, the monitor, all the drugs, everything.
Can you stand up and show it to them?
They have the monitors to identify a heart attack. They have all the drugs.
Got the drugs
that they would have in the emergency room. Any diagnostic equipment they can get to your place in a matter of minutes. So that's why we stress so much call 911 immediately. If you want immediate care, that's your best route. So in this circumstance with this video here,
it was very sad.
Yeah. But always when in doubt,
call 911.
So what happens when you call 911? Who shows up?
Everybody.
So a lot of people ask questions during class. Why does the fire engine show up when I call 911 if my family member's having a heart attack? Well, the simple answer to that is your fire engine's usually pretty close, and the guys on the fire engine are at an advanced level of medical care. They have all the equipment amongst the hose and the ladders and such, but they have everything needed just like in the emergency room. So the engine is your first responding unit, and they will initiate care. Then the ambulance will show up, transport you to the hospital. So that's why fire engines show up when you dial 911.
It's quite dramatic.
But it's better than
But I'll take that drama over the drama of being pulled over by the police and possibly someone losing their life because,
right.
I'm all in my feelings. Hey, Rich Random. I haven't seen these guys in 3 years. I'm so excited to see all of you, every single one of you. Thank you so much for coming by. So next.
All right. We did the incident with the gal delaying a little bit of transport. It was a mess.
It was.
But ultimately, the law enforcement let her go and escorted her to the hospital. But all that time it took to get to that was just too much.
Wasted time. And can you show them what it could have looked like in that car?
Oh, yeah. A little bit further. Yeah,
Yes.
I'll pull that up. You can.
We want to show you a little demonstration of what happens when what you can't see in a car. And when someone really, really is in trouble.
Screaming with their hands raised. The driver, Kenochio Moss, says the police
The strips.
Oh, yeah.
See what that is?
So this is a good example of if there were a fireman there with one of these monitors, this is what they're going to see, and they can hook you up and pull up very quickly what's going on with your heart at that moment.
This person's in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, maybe to most of you that looks like a bunch of squiggly lines on the screen, but to people who can interpret that, that is a really bad night, and this person needs immediate care. And if I'm in an ambulance heading to a hospital and this is what I see, we're going to notify them right away, and they're either going to accept that person or say, hey, that's going to need to go to a specialty center so we can quickly divert and go to the appropriate receiving spot instead of just the closest.
Yeah, these V4 leads, this is very frightening. You know what we call those? You want to tell them?
Go ahead. I'll blow them up.
So they can see? Can you guys see it?
I'll show you right here. See this box right here? Kind of looks like a tombstone, right?
And that's exactly what we call them. The person is throwing tombstones at this point.
And if we don't do something about it, or somebody doesn't do anything about it,
real quick,
we're going to need a real tombstone. So let me turn that down. That's going to make me insane.
And these are other parameters you can't get in the car. You don't know what the blood pressure is. And even if you have a blood pressure cuff, you don't know what the saturation level is. And that's an abnormal sat and a low blood pressure. They're throwing tombstones. That's typically what you would see. So everyone walks away from this knowing when to call 911. Chest pain, shortness of breath. I'll use the BFAST algorithm for strokes. Someone who's wobbling, all of a sudden they're losing their balance.
Altered mental status.
Changes in their mental status. They seem all of a sudden, like I did a moment ago when Jason was asking me questions and I'm not answering them. Blurred vision.
Yeah. Ringing in your ears.
Or parts of the body going numb. A stroke can come in any combination, any size.
Yep.
So that's facial droop. One side of the face is moving, another side of the face is like this.
Yeah, it's very obvious when you see a stroke for the first time. It looks like their face is sliding off.
Yeah, because
nothing works on one side.
Nothing works on one side. So, arm drift. You ask them to put up their arms, and you get this.
Yep. Or they can't squeeze. Just have no strength in one side.
Slurred speech. Talking normal, all of a sudden the words get garbled, or they can't say anything at all.
Or they sound drunk.
But something has drastically changed. And T is for time. Time, again, is heart muscle, brain. the faster you can get that person, the faster you call 911, the faster you get that person the ambulance and get them treatment, the more heart and brain cells are saved.
That's right. Well, let's talk about heart attack versus cardiac arrest before we get into CPR.
Okay.
So there is a drastic difference between a heart attack and cardiac arrest. For medical professionals, it's obvious that there's two, but a lot of people will confuse the two. I see it when in our classes when we're teaching, I'll ask that question and no one has a decent answer other than deciphering the obvious that the cardiac arrest is when the heart is not pumping the blood it needs to. But I struggled trying to answer what a heart attack is, and it's pretty simple. It's the beginning of what's going to end up to be potentially cardiac arrest. So the way they present will be most commonly chest pain, shortness of breath, nausea. You'll see the skin signs very poor, pale, cool, sweaty, and that potentially could be a heart attack. And that's the moment where you're going to need to, hey, this is an emergency. Let's call 911.
The dollhouse is in here. Welcome to Voodoo Doll TV. That's my bud. That's my girl. Hey, hon. So now you see me for the first time in 3 years.
3 years, yeah. It took 3 months to get her here.
Hey, the Queen's Revolution. Hey, that's my other good Judy.
All right.
You guys can drop those houses in here. It's okay. So does everyone understand the difference between a heart attack and a cardiac arrest, or when the heart has stopped? Heart attack, the person's alive, breathing, but they're having chest pain and they're undergoing changes. Their skin is getting sweaty. They get a dusky color and maybe dizzy. There's a lot that goes on with a heart attack. But with a cardiac arrest, the heart has stopped. The person is down.
Kind of look like this guy right here.
Like this.
This is actually a person.
That's actually
half a person.
that is actually a cardiac arrest. They're not doing anything. In both instances, please call 911, which moves us over to the next area of CPR.
Hey, that's what you're supposed to do.
Uh-huh.
All right.
But unfortunately, each year we have over 350,000 cardiac arrests where people are down. 350,000 per year. Only 10% of those people make it. So in essence, over 310 lives are lost. Now, that's what you see that?
There you go.
Everyone know what that is. That's asystole or flatlined.
Yep. But if you've identified it or you've witnessed them go down, there may be still activity that the heart is doing, but it's still no longer pumping, and you want to start your resuscitation. That's your CPR.
So yeah, like this rhythm is not compatible with life. But the only way, it's not.
It's a good. I like the way
It's incompatible with life. But either way, down 911. And since I brought to you the importance of how many people lives are lost each year due to not enough people have CPR. If you're male, there's a 45% chance that someone around you knows CPR. If you're female, it's down to 37%. Wow. And we have to do something. Oh, yes, it is.
Wow.
Oh, yes, it is.
That's eye-opening.
So we have to do something about that. Also, you know, from age.
Yeah, you just did your homework on the stats.
I did my homework. Okay. I will need to take another CPR.
Hey,
How many-
sure. Why wait?
How many people in here? Put a 1 in the chat if you have a CPR card.
Current, valid.
Just drop a 1.
And a 0 if you don't. It's
For matter of
okay.
fact, you don't even have to answer if you don't want to, because the majority of people don't. And
Yeah.
this is really life-saving.
All right.
See, you can only do something about it if you know about it. Yeah. I told you I have an honest group.
Oh, that's great. It's actually eye-opening to realize how many people don't have training.
Mm-hmm.
And then when an incident happens, the crowd quickly disperses and they go to their comfort zone, which is videotaping the incident. That's
Instead of calling
unfortunately-
911, we have
Yeah.
more videotapes of people being, their heart stopped. Then we have videos of people actually resuscitated. So,
Yeah.
which brings us to the point of CPR. We want to keep the blood flowing and oxygen will move through blood. So we want to keep complete perfusion in the body. That's the utmost important. That's the point.
There's a lot of good videos on YouTube actually that will animate or give you an example of what you're doing when you're actually pumping the heart manually with the CPR. But I can quickly give you a visual here.
So you guys are going to get a demonstration of what it looks like.
So picture this as your heart, right? Riding inside of your rib cage, and we're outside the chest. We're squeezing the heart. I don't know if you can hear that. It's close enough to the mic, but each compression that you do will squeeze this heart like a sponge and allow it to relax and fill and pump blood to your brain, which is the most important.
Yeah, because we want to keep the brain, we want to save the brain and save the heart. So the faster you call 911 and the more people have CPR, the more people can be saved. Because I think 310,000 lives a year is that's an astronomical number. That's a big number.
I love that song.
They said we can hear it.
Oh, good. Okay. So these were working, so that's great. Love that song. Which song? Oh,
Wyclef Jean.
Oh yeah, there's all kinds of songs. During class, American Heart Association backs the Staying Alive.
Staying Alive.
Yeah, which is very common, and there's a lot of videos on that. But you can actually go to any of your streaming music platforms and type in CPR music, and people have playlists of all kinds of songs that will give you the rate of 100 to 120 beats a minute, which is helpful to some, but some of the titles might be questionable. So I don't know if you'd want to sing them out loud during a resuscitation.
Okay, so now we're on to the cost of training.
Oh,
And
yes,
there's some
my favorite
people,
subject.
some people will debate this, but you have to ask yourself, which one would be more expensive?
Yeah, someone's life
Or a CPR card?
or an $80 training session with a professional. I don't know. I think I'd go with the training. Although, on that subject, people will be assigned to get a CPR certification or any kind of medical training from their employer. So naturally, they want to save money because it's a work requirement. So they're going to shop around. Now, I give this analogy all the time. If you look hard enough, you're going to find the best deal on training. But you get what you pay for.
You might get the best deal financially in terms of money, but they may not be necessarily equate to the best training.
Right. That $80 to $100 class that you're gonna take, it might be just, oh, I got to do it for work. But let's say you're not at work and you have your little certification and you remember what to do. If you don't respond and utilize your skills that you learned during that training, what good are you to that person? Let's say you didn't get very good training. You're going to be one of those that stands back and hesitates to respond to someone.
Freeze.
But when you get good training and you are competent in your skill and something like that happens, you take a breath, you realize, oh, this is go time, and you go to work. And that's, those incidents are when people end up surviving from this. So if more people took the time to take their training seriously, we're going to have some better outcomes.
Yeah, we definitely will. And so there are certain feelings that go along when someone's heart stops or they drop or they stop breathing, you know, when they're in full cardiac arrest. And, you know, we're going to talk about a few of those feelings because I want you to know that some of them are normal, but you still need to be moving towards something. Think of it as baseball. I gave Jason this analogy. Yeah. See, I have on my little baseball earrings.
And what color are you wearing?
Dodger blue. even though it says transport nurse, I'm in my Dodger blue. Listen, when someone has dropped or someone is stopped breathing and the heart is stopped, in baseball, it's called a sacrifice. The sacrifice is the batter is out, the runners advance. Same way in a cardiac arrest. That person drops, that's the batter, he's out.
All right.
And the runner is advancing. You are the runner on scene there once that person drops. CPR card or not, you are the runner. And you should be moving towards calling 911, which is activating the EMS, emergency medical system, and increasing that person's chance of survival.
So there's some things to expect during the initial phases of an emergency or an incident like what you described. You're going to be in shock because you're like, wow, this is it. This is happening, and that's normal, 100%. Now, another normal reaction is to freeze for a moment, and then, again, it's normal, but just don't freeze and stay there. Just take your breath and get to work. I mean, it's normal reaction for you to stop, pause, you know, even check the scene a little bit, make sure it's safe, and then you're going to go in and go to work and do your training. You're going to go to what you were trained to do.
And see, that CPR will give you that, but that shock, and freezing and denial, you got to snap out of that.
Yeah.
Come out of it. I've even seen people do it in hospitals. Okay, if you can believe it.
Yeah. Well, there's other stories about incidents where something that normally takes place doesn't, and then there's a negative outcome. But you know, each person is different, so we really don't speak on that. But we will speak on the things that are normal, and I think the next big one is fear. You know, you've gone through the shock, you've taken your breath, you look, and this is go time, and now you're fearful of whatever you might be afraid of, getting sued, doing harm, someone's going to catch it on video, whatever. You need to get rid of that fear, okay? Or at least park it. Put it on the shelf for a minute. You should have zero fear in legal ramifications on helping someone who's down. Okay. We can get into Good Samaritan laws in a bit, but you're protected if you're acting in good faith.
And you have that CPR card, you will not be sued.
Correct.
You cannot be sued because, and it's the same way with the shock and the panic and the fear. That person is already down.
Yeah.
If you have a CPR card, there is nothing you can do to harm that person, unless you do something ridiculous like give them a drink of water.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Don't do that.
Don't do that. Don't do that. But anything you're doing, you will help them. You are helping them. It's when, everyone freezes and stands around and looks at each other and, no one in the room seems to say, let's get the crash card or call 911 or whatever it is.
Yeah. Fear and panic go hand in hand because, after one, the other follows.
Mm-hmm.
And the terrible thing about those is it's super contagious.
Okay? It is.
When you start freaking out or someone next to you starts freaking out or reacting inappropriately for the situation, it's going to spread and people lose their mind. And if you, who are, trained and relatively competent, you should be able to respond to that incident and park all that stuff, and zone into what you're going to do for that person. And that's helpful.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not going to get much worse
than somebody who's in full on.
You have an expired person on the floor. You're going to only
help
do good.
them.
Yeah.
But just remember that fear and that panic, that is contagious. And can you tell me why paramedics arrive on scene the way they do? They're necessary.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point. I think we wrote that down in here.
Uh-huh.
So one other thing, and this is actually during the panic and fear phase, is 911 shows up, and you will notice that these guys are coming on scene like it's another day. No one is running. No one is rushing. No one. I mean, they might be walking with a purpose. Most of the time, they do.
Mm-hmm.
But you're not going to see them rushing to the scene because they don't want to injure themselves. They don't want to damage or break equipment because then they're no good. So,
and if they're panicking,
yeah.
You're already panicking. It's only going to get worse. So there are a few questions in here.
Let's go.
Sonic boom.
Heimlich maneuver.
Can a regular person get a compact defibrillator?
Yes, they can.
Really?
Yeah, we actually just started. We just got approved to start reselling AEDs, and I noticed on the list there are home kits available.
Oh, that's true.
We have access to those. They are a little pricey, but I have a lot of students that come through and do training just to have for their family members, and they are interested in people purchase AEDs for their home all the time. So they are available.
And another good reason to get a CPR card, then we're going to move to the next thing. 38 states require, prior to high school graduation, that high school students do possess a CPR card. California is one of those states. Now, having said that, when you take your child to school or daycare or wherever it is, you want to make sure that the teachers are trained, okay, that their CPR cards are current, that they do know the location of the AED, because that's very, very important. That's what saved Bronny James' life. Everybody in there knew how to do CPR. And definitely, if your child is involved in any sport activity or even cheerleading or gymnastics, because kids can go down too, I would like to encourage you to get your CPR training.
Yeah. And I noticed a question in here. We keep talking about CPR cards. The actual printed card is kind of a thing of the past. Everything that we issue, everything that is issued these days through American Heart Association is an e-card. It is an electronic digital card that has your name, the information from your training site that you took your training at, and your expiration date. So electronic cards are valid, and it should be rare to see an actual printed.
Yeah, they don't do the printed card. They don't.
If somebody whips out one of those old school cards, boy, you should probably ask questions.
Then you know what they call that person? Well, he has a name for him, Danny in the white van.
Yeah, that goes to our subject of you get what you pay for. There's an actual true story of, we won't name the name of the hospital or what, but there were several nurses that were coming up for their renewal on their basic life support certification, and one of them got wind of Danny, who drives around, parks in the parking structure, and charges $50 to basically make you a card out of the back of his van. So there was, I believe it was 7 nurses that took advantage of it, and they had an incident where it was investigated or looked into, and found out that they bought it out of the back of a van, and they were all 7 terminated. And good old Danny in the van just moved from one county to another. So,
and you have people that do that, these nefarious individuals that'll move around from places to places where they know people need that CPR card. Someone
dang it, Danny.
Someone had a question about.
I see the digital one, and then I got one from American Heart. Yep, that's good.
I believe the Queen's Revolution asks, how old does someone have to be?
Oh, that's a good question. So the answer to that is there is no age requirement or limit to becoming certified. The one thing that individual has to be able to do is perform the physical skill of doing the compressions and the ventilations. So there is a skills test that they have to pass, and if they have the upper body strength to do so, then physically they can do it. They can become certified. I think the youngest I have right now is I think he's 11 now. He's 11 years old, and he's running around there with a card with my name on it.
Hi, Fifi TV.
He
Welcome.
He did a really good job. And he passed the test, too. The BLS card. Yeah.
So
12-year-old with me, yeah, for sure.
You want to get into the Good Samaritan?
Yeah. So, let's see. So, let's go back to fear. Fear. A lot of people fear legal repercussions of wanting to help someone. I mentioned it earlier. The Good Samaritan law is out there to protect you. It protects anyone who responds in good faith, which is like, it constantly repeats that term. In good faith, responds to help someone. That covers people with training and your lay rescuer. Someone walking by that sees someone beaten and battered on the ground and they stop to help. That person's protected. So rest assured in that. Good Samaritan laws do vary from state to state, but the majority of them all cover you as someone who is acting in good faith and wanting to help another person. Okay. What else? I had some pretty good points on that.
You know, you guys have 2 other rooms open, and people are waiting in those rooms.
Oh, no.
Can someone please go over to those rooms and tell them to come over here? Please.
That's what happened to me. That's why I couldn't see the chat.
I was wondering. Okay.
So, Good Samaritan. you know, when something like that happens and you decide to do something, you might be the highest trained person there. So do something. And I mean, it goes back to, you know, get trained, but do something. Just don't do them any harm.
Right.
That's part of the Hippocratic Oath
Right.
that all medical professionals take. So, like, just get in there and do something. And worst case scenario, you dial 911 on your phone and you say, I got someone down that's not breathing and not responding. You put it on speaker and they're going to walk you through what to do.
The 911 operators.
Yeah. They're all trained. They have a script to go off of, and they can walk you through step by step what to do.
Hi, Awakened Queen. Welcome, sis. Yeah, that's another thing. You can dial 911 and they'll ask you fire or medical. You can say medical. This person's not breathing. You know, I don't feel a pulse. And I think he needs CPR. And then they'll walk you through it. They'll tell you how fast to go.
Yep.
They'll give you all of that.
I wonder if we got our people in the other room yet.
Let's see.
Should wait before I ask the question. So let's talk more about the Good Samaritan law. In recent years, it has changed, maybe from what's printed out right now, but it's changed to include protection for you as the responder to help someone who is overdosed. Okay, a lot of you may know there's a drug out there. Well, there's a bad epidemic of recreational drugs.
Yeah, but this one's the one you want to know.
There's Narcan or naloxone that's out there pretty much everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
You can get this over the counter now, from what I heard.
Yes.
2 weeks ago, you can get this over the counter. But it's part of all classes that we teach. It's part of everything American Heart Association. They want to bring awareness to this drug because you're going to see it or you're going to hear about it and you're going to want to know, well, what's it all about? And it's very simple to use. It's one dose of a drug that reverses the effects of whatever drug they are on. Hopefully it only works on opioids. So,
it doesn't work on that xylazine. It does not work on Trank, but it will work on fentanyl.
Fentanyl, morphine, Norco, Vicodin, all the major opioids. So the reason this is a big part of training because they want awareness to this. And there's even separate classes you can take on this. We offer them, but it's like an hour long. We just include it in all of our training because we want everyone to be proficient. So the Good Samaritan law protects you if you stumble across this and save someone.
Which I did.
Wow. Recently?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, do tell.
Huh?
Well, do tell.
Yeah. Yeah. He was down, and I was like, hey. Let me get you some Narcan, okay? And let me give you a little bit more.
Back,
call 911.
Yep. Get the guys coming. Or ladies, or all people. Get the people coming.
And I'm sure you guys heard about that incident over in New York last week? That was pretty sad at a daycare.
Oh, the accidental exposure?
Yeah. The accidental exposure. That's another thing. So just, make sure that you really look at the person and what's going on around you, especially when it comes to a possible overdose, because it has often been said, hey, hi, Mr. Wise. It has often occurred that the rescuer ends up touching the body, and there's so much fentanyl on them that they overdose. Yep. So you want to have a pair of gloves in that situation.
Yeah, law enforcement. There's a lot of videos of law enforcement being exposed while they're arresting a suspect, and they accidentally, while cuffing them, get exposed to that, and then transdermally it absorbs into their body, and then
they go out
unresponsive. And luckily, they carry these Narcan kits, and they're, as soon as someone acknowledges, hey, well, this is not okay, they'll administer it and reverse those effects. And the cool thing about Narcan is if you give it to someone who's not overdosing, it doesn't do anything. So that's
Yeah. So you haven't heard anything.
Yep, female cop was taken out. Yep.
I saw that video too on YouTube where she just opened the car door and
Boom.
that was it.
Yeah, there's a lot of examples out there of bad things happening, but you never see. Well, I shouldn't say never. You don't see the good stories of people stepping up and doing stuff. Like you see the negative ones instead of
Everybody's recording.
yeah. Instead of look, this guy stepped up and dragged this person out of a pool and started CPR right away. Now that person is another productive citizen. So saving lives is pretty easy if you're trained and know what you're doing. Confident in your skills.
And that's another good reason to have a CPR card. If you live in an apartment or even in a private home and you have a toddler, you definitely want to learn CPR because no matter how much we lock things down, no matter how hard you tie it down, how even with the the toddler snaps, somehow a child will always find their way around that device.
Yeah. Looks like here's a you question.
What's my question?
How is it possible for an appendix to go gangrene? Isn't that the same as appendicitis? Yeah,
No.
Sounds like it.
Appendicitis is inflammation, but when it's like gangrene, it's probably popped, and that's turns sometimes
Septic.
Peritonitis,
yeah.
and they get septic. So that's a longer road to recovery. Any other questions real quick? Hey, Awakened Queen, I apologize to all of you. I'm sorry I had two different windows open. I also have a camera on, then the microphone. You guys heard that in the beginning. It was echoing.
We had some technical issues, but we've gotten through it. And it's nice that you guys are with us. And
it sure is. It's so nice to see you guys after 3 years.
Are they going to be able to watch this after the fact?
Yes.
To catch up? Okay.
Yes,
All
they
right.
can watch this. They can ponder the replay.
Okay.
And the dollhouse is in here. Let's see. Toddlers and kids are often trying to off themselves. LOL, I remember my kids tried to do Spider-Man.
Move off the couch, gosh, eye on the coffee table. Yep.
Mm-hmm. They do.
There's almost no way around that. Kids are going to be kids.
Jumping off of things.
Yep.
And I'm telling you that swimming pool looks very inviting to a kid. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the sun bouncing off the water, but a toddler is never out there by themselves.
Hopefully. Most of the instances that I've been involved with, the supervision is always a question.
I got thrown in the wall accidentally. They said, "Oh, Sonic Boom, please teach them how to swim." Yes, that's it. So, you're right.
That's a good piece
Queen
of advice.
Revolution. Teach them how to, and before you even purchase a place that has a swimming pool or rent at least a place that has a swimming pool, you want to have a CPR card.
Yeah. And
then you want to take that kid. YMCA is a wonderful place for toddlers to learn how to swim.
Yeah. Pool safety is paramount, and getting your kids to swim early is ideal. I had both my daughters learn pretty early, and they never had an incident. So that, praise God for that. But yes, I have two daughters. That's why. That's why I will be. This is my little one, Lonnie, and this is my bigger one, Kalea.
That's a whole sleeve over there. He's working with it.
Kalea runs the Instagram for Surf City CPR.
Hi, Kalea.
I'm sure you're out there, babe. Thank you. Let's see. back to Good Samaritan updates. So another cool update that I noticed that not every state has implemented, but a lot of states are implementing what's called animal welfare clause. So they're adding it to protect you if you witness an animal in a hot car in distress.
Yes.
That Good Samaritan law will also cover you for any incident that may occur.
Yep.
Now, I'm not saying go smash everybody's windows out and
Because they
slam
left
the
their
Good
dog in
Samaritan
the car, but if you notice that dog, like,
yeah,
you can smash in California, I should
Yeah.
say, you can legally smash that window and get that dog out of there. And certainly an unattended child.
but hang around for law enforcement because they're gonna have questions.
Yeah, like who left their child or their pet
Yeah.
in the car?
Right.
So you can't do that to fur babies out here. You can't do that to dogs and cats and babies. No.
Yeah.
And so there was a question
Another
about,
question?
a question about what do you guys think about cayenne pepper for heart attacks?
I've seen zero evidence that that is effective. Really have not. I try to read all the latest and greatest in regards to heart attacks. I have not seen anything about red cayenne pepper. Although,
Now I do put it in my food because it is
Yeah,
healthy to
it's
eat.
good.
It's going in my food.
It's good. Hopefully you like it, and if it has positive, effects on the heart, then so be it. I'll probably be okay because I like it too.
I like it.
But the initial care for if you're suspecting someone's having a heart attack,
Call
number one thing
911.
is call 911 because they're going to come out and initiate that care. They're going to give you the baby aspirin. They're going to give you the nitroglycerin sprays. They're going to start the IV on you and
Give you the oxygen. Those are
Yep.
all things you don't have in a car. So
all things that red cayenne. I feel like I have. Man, all right. The doctor's testimony said she saved a guy's life with it. I wouldn't do it. I'm not a doctor. That's what she said. Yeah.
Sonic boom.
People say a lot of things too. I did this to save someone, and it worked. Yeah. The good thing about American Heart Association is they do a lot of research in regards to stories and
Medicines,
new
and
medicine.
spices.
Wow.
You okay?
Yeah. That cayenne pepper.
I just want to make sure you're okay over there.
So I got a question for everybody. It's question time. And it's in regards to the Good Samaritan law. Question is, where does that law come from? And why is it called the Good Samaritan law? Go.
Anyone knows?
She's giving off kind of.
No.
Drink some milk. Yeah. No milk here, but I got some water and Rockstar. Maybe that'll work.
What is Rockstar?
It's one of those energy drinks you're not supposed to drink.
Mm.
That's bad for your heart,
I don't drink those.
but it works for coughing. All right.
It's coming from her pores.
Oh, look, somebody answered correctly. Truly,
Bible.
yeah, truly unlearning and learning self, said the Bible. Yeah, that is correct. Ah, see, someone else likes it. That's bad
Sam. You
for you.
can't.
Bad for you.
No.
Moderation.
No. Okay. It does come from the Bible. Now, can you read it?
Yeah, so specifically in the Bible, it comes from Luke chapter 10, verses 25 through 37. It's the parable of the Good Samaritan. My version is from the New King James Version. I'll read it to you. And it reads, but a certain Samaritan, as he journeyed, came where he was, And when he saw him, he had compassion. So he went to him, he bandaged his wounds, pouring on oil and wine, and set him on his own animal, brought him to an inn, and took care of him. So this parable, this lesson from Jesus Christ, is the foundation for these current laws that are in place. And it's still called the Good Samaritan Law, based, which is kind of surprising.
In 2023
Yeah,
AD.
Yeah, I'm glad it's still called that, because rightfully so. That's where it came from. So, little trivia for you. For everyone.
So yeah, the Good Samaritan Law is from the Bible.
All right.
Any questions?
Sonic Boom seems like a pretty fun character.
What is Sonic Boom?
I do like rock stars, but it doesn't keep me awake.
Oh my gosh. Oh.
This is not a commercial for Rockstar. I get nothing from them.
And so.
All right. So next up, what do we have?
The
Actually saw it earlier.
What?
There was a question that says, what should you have on hand in order to respond to an incident? Someone had mentioned a pocket mask or a keychain.
Oh.
I saw it, but
you want to talk
that's
about
our next topic.
Okay, go ahead.
So, what should you have on you to respond to an incident? I have 3 items, actually 2. If you want to carry around a bunch of stuff or just be prepared, number 1, in an ideal situation, I would carry a pair of gloves on me. And I do. Like, I'll do laundry and the dryer will kick out a bunch of gloves because, you forget sometimes. But I carry gloves on me at all time just in case. It doesn't take up space. It protects you against blood, bodily fluids, fentanyl, drug exposure. So a good pair of latex gloves or non-latex gloves, let me correct that, is good to have on you. It doesn't take up space. It's easy to carry. And that's one of the first things you should always put on when you're responding to an incident. Now, item number 2, very easy to carry, takes up 0 space, and that's skills. Skills and competence. And confidence. I mean, all these things together. Training, knowledge, ability, and calmness. These are all things that you can carry with you every day that will help you respond to an incident. And the third thing is just a little funny. That's it. That's all you need. If you have those 2 things on you, you can help someone in need. Now, the next part of the discussion is, barrier devices and the pocket masks and all the gadgety things out there. I've even seen an anti-choking device.
One for the Heimlich maneuver.
Yeah, it's like a pocket mask with a suction device to help people choking. Now, I haven't played with that. I'm confident it works because it had to be tested. But here's the reality of it. And I have another story that goes along with this. The pocket masks and all these gadgety things are great and they work. But when you have an incident where someone is down, you're not thinking, oh, where did I put that cool device? What drawer did I put it in? Or where is the pocket mask?
Again,
you're going to run back to the car? No. So my story, my instance, I can speak to this, is when we started this business, we used to have little promotional barrier devices that we would give out, and they had our logo on it, and it was a face shield for when you're doing CPR, and it was perfect. It's this size. It was real small, and I wore one for years, and it wore out, and I just replaced it, and I had it on my keychain.
Okay. Did you ever use it?
I've done CPR 3 times in the world outside of work or anything. Never thought once to go digging in my pocket for my keys.
Most people don't. No.
My response is, let's go to work. Okay. And that brings up a good point. You know, are you going to use mouth? Are you going to go mouth to mouth on someone if you don't have a means of protecting yourself? The answer is
no,
absolutely not.
no, because I've seen instances where people have done that and it has been an overdose, and guess what? That person went out too.
Yeah.
Because now,
you know, there's a small chance of you contracting something if you're licking on someone that isn't a family member. You know?
Oh, wow.
So another harsh reality when someone goes into cardiac arrest, they could vomit. So you want to have protection if it's possible.
And that
but
happen.
If it's not possible, and this is a big misconception too that comes up during training, but we quickly eliminate that, is you don't have to. If you don't have the means, let me make that clear, worry about doing the ventilations. If you witness this person go down and they don't have a pulse and you start you got to do two things. 911 and push hard and fast. You're doing compressions as you were trained.
Just chest compressions.
It's called hands-only CPR. It's a great program that American Heart has kind of been pushing because they want people to respond to these incidents. They don't want people standing around. So if you just call 911 and push hard and fast in the center of the chest, you're going to help this person drastically. So there's no need to worry about putting your mouth on some other human that may have vomited or have some other kind of, you know, nasties up here, when the importance is the compression. That's what saves people.
You have BGs.
And you got the BGs in your head,
you got
too.
the BGs in your head.
Any song. It doesn't take up any space in your pockets. Take it with you.
Another good song, too, is the one by Queen. A lot of people...
That's the one I share in class. That's funny. Yeah.
Another one, Bites the Dust.
Another one, Bites the Dust, is the actual perfect pace.
Song.
It's just don't sing it while you're doing it.
Sing it in your head.
Yeah.
Okay, don't sing it because people are like, what?
Yeah, someone could take that wrong. Yeah.
And someone said, that's sick. But you know, it's been out there for years. It's one of the leading songs.
Looks like we answered some questions there.
So, any other questions?
Use your hand to act as a barrier. You could, but the most important thing you can do for someone in cardiac arrest are the compressions. Okay, that's really what's important. The time you take from stopping compressions to doing whatever you do for ventilations is vital time that you're not perfusing and
the
getting
brain
blood
or the heart.
So just push hard and fast. You called 911, the guys are coming, and just do compressions till they show up. Okay, that's it. That's it. That's hands-only CPR, and I teach it. I stand behind it. I've done it several times, and we're going to go out and do that in the community as well.
Yes, because now we're partners. NoSaltBP.org is partnered with Surf City CPR, and we're going to go out into the community and teach people how to perform hands-only CPR.
Yep. It makes a difference.
It does.
We're going to do it. I was actually going to ask you about this, but we've had some incidents at the place I live, and I'm going to, as a resident, offer free training to
they need
the
to
whole
be trained.
community, because I want everyone to not stand around and watch.
That to me is worse. That makes me feel more helpless.
Yeah. Me
personally, I think, okay, I completely have no control over this situation if I'm watching. But if I call 911, jump in there and start doing something, that's a different ball game. And then I'll repeat again, freezing happens in hospitals as well.
I'll let you go on that one.
He said he'll let me go. And you're so wrong. There was a recent incident out here, and I know you guys heard about it. the dollhouse definitely heard about it because we talk. We can talk to each other over there. Where a young woman, she was pregnant, she was in labor. Her legs started swelling. They put in an epidural and her heart stopped. There were several nurses in that room that did not perform CPR. The state of California has gotten involved. And by the way, I'll tell you at the end of it, but the state of California has gotten involved, and there are some things that are coming up for the individuals are going to have to go through some extra things, probably explanations, probably licenses will be lost.
Yeah, I'm sure there's some questions.
Well, woo,
That sounds terrible. I did hear that.
Those questions were answered. The material was received under the Freedom of Information Act by NBC News. So they did get the actual details of the event. So I want to say to all my colleagues in nursing, please don't rely on Danny in the white van. Somebody drives up to your hospital and tells you, "Oh, just pay me whatever." I know you can just no. We need to do it every 2 years.
Yeah, pencil whipping certifications is not going to benefit anyone. What's done in the dark is going to come to light. So
it always does.
Take training seriously. Pay for decent training. It's not even that expensive. I believe the going rate for a basic life support class is under $80.
Under $80, it's not
and that
that
certification is good for 2 years. So, the other medical training that we offer is, more. However, it involves more, but it's worth every penny. And get good training.
Answer Sam's question. According to what has been reported throughout the media, the husband did the CPR.
Yeah, it was in the news.
Well, the husband did it. And so I will also add to this, if you live in Southern California, yeah, I know, with all that medical personnel, it's very, very sad. And the baby is alive. The mom didn't survive. And mom never got to see the baby. She never got to hold the baby. This is why I say take CPR seriously. This is very, very serious. This is serious business. For anyone that's interested in information on hospitals, the state of California does have a public website. And so I will give it to you now. You can look up any hospital in the state of California. It is cdph.ca.gov. And please, if you're going to a hospital, yes, you need to look at that facility. Ladies, we spend more time on picking out our shoes and our lipstick than we do picking out our doctors and our hospitals.
That's a good point.
And that's something that shouldn't be, but we do. And men spend more time tinkering with the electronics, than they do picking out their physician or their hospital, and that has to stop.
Right.
That needs to stop. We're
You get what you pay for.
But you don't know what you pay for if you don't know what you're going into.
That's true. So that's a good resource to find out about your hospitals. I would dovetail on that and say, ask your local emergency medical system. Ask your fire department. Hey, talk to me about the hospitals around here. I have a family member at home that's on hospice, or not on hospice, but at home
rehabbing.
Yeah, like where should we go? If you had your choice, where would you take your family member? I mean, you can ask. There's nothing saying you can't ask those questions. And you're going to get a legit answer.
But at CDPH, you get the scores.
You get the facts. Yeah.
You get the details. You get all the information of
good.
what has gone on in that facility. And I just want to encourage everyone, again, is cdph.ca.gov.
Queen Revolution says she's diabetic, and I researched my doctors and facilities. Look, see?
See?
That's right.
But Queen Revolution, she's from the Dow House. Queen Revolution got it right. She's got it right. I would.
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, how many of you have a blood pressure cuff? Because I think this is exactly what.
Ooh, yeah.
How many of you have a blood pressure cuff in your home? 1 for yes, 0 for no.
Oh, oh no, I got one right here. I was gonna say I'm gonna give you a 0, but I got one attached to this monitor.
What about in your home? Your monitor?
Then I'm a 0.
Okay. I don't.
Is that a glass of? Is that a wine?
1.
No.
Queen Revolution's on it. She's always on it. She
I
says
have
1. Sonic Boom does
0.
0. Okay, let me tell you, it is now being recommended by the Department of Health and Human Services, Office of Women's Health. We want to save 1 million lives, 1 million hearts. Okay, 1 million hearts.
Good goal.
Yeah, but we need a blood pressure cuff and CPR first. So that's why we're working together. But you need that blood pressure cuff for anyone that is of childbearing age. And I'm talking about teenagers too, because what happens is, and it's not because their bodies are changing. They have hormonal fluctuations. And with that comes fluctuations in blood pressure. Any female need to have a blood pressure cuff in your home from childbearing age and up. And when you start hitting menopause and, women start doing this and all these hot flashes, that vasoconstriction is high blood pressure.
How about you talking about the automatics or the manuals?
You can get them from Rite Aid. It's called the Omron blood pressure cuff from Rite Aid. And it has a memory. They'll hold like up to 60 or 100 blood pressures or something. And that also comes in handy when you think something is wrong with someone.
Sure.
You got the cuff right there.
Or you could always call 911. They'll come check it for you for free. Well, not just to check their blood pressure. Boy, that'll give me in trouble. But if you're suspecting, don't call them just to check your blood pressure. They do outreach programs where you can go down and get checked. But if you're suspecting there's an issue, that's one of the first things that they're going to do is check your vital signs, check your blood pressure.
And you know what, Sonic Boom? That would be the perfect gift for your mom, but do it sooner than later. Because
they're cheap, right?
Yes, they're cheap because, as you know, we have healthcare disparities. Let's keep it 100 here. There are healthcare disparities with women, Black women.
Okay.
It's there. So we have to take proactive steps to help ourselves and also help, the doctor that you see. And, tell him my blood pressure's up, it's down, it's up, it's down. Well, they want to see proof of that.
Yeah, having documentation of that. That's what they're going to listen to. Oh, there's a question for you, salt.
Which,
or no salt.
What does it say?
I should call you cayenne pepper after this. What do you think about green salt?
Pink salt, green salt, seasoning salt. Salt is salt. And no matter what kind of salt it is, it's just not good for the body. Everything that grows from the soil has salt in it. The recommendation from the CDC recommendation, if you have high blood pressure, You should have no more than 1,500 milligrams of sodium per day.
Oh, that could go pretty quick.
Exactly. So there is no chips in that because I'm sure your bag of potato chips. Oh, let me go get his bag of potato. And by the way, I have never ate his bag. I've been side-eyeing him about these bags of chips.
So we during training we have a refrigerator full of water and electrolytes. We also have chips and snacks to keep people going during class. But there is a reason for that. It's not to boost everyone's blood pressure. They have found. So here's the reasoning for this. So I'm backing up my stance here. Is they've shown that during the learning environment, if you're consuming an increase in salt and a slight moderation is the key. A slight increase in salt and a slight increase in you grab the worst one, and a slight increase in sugar, your brain will have a better uptake of the information that you're learning. So that's my reasoning for that. It's not to.
Hey, SK, that's my fishing buddy. Hey, SK.
There's a variety in there.
If you eat half of these,
you didn't grab the baked ones. I noticed.
160.
Wow.
If you have the full package, 320 milligrams of sodium.
Chips.
1 teaspoon of salt, 500 milligrams of sodium.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Wow,
1 teaspoon of salt.
All right, so I'm learning some stuff too. So, teaspoon of salt, that's what you make when you make cookies. You don't even taste the salt.
That's why I don't put it in there. Why put it in there? Why put it in there if you're not going to...
Sonic Boom was that bag of chips.
Hey, I can't do anything with them. That's for sure. I don't mess with any salt.
I heard snack.
None. Don't mess with it. No.
So that's why I have the chips, because of that. I saw a study that talked about uptake in sugar and salt during your learning. It helps you retain the information.
How about apples?
That I just can't keep apples in here. They go bad.
Oranges, you have a small refrigerator.
Okay. Maybe I'll change my ways too.
Change it to fruit.
All right. All right. Better choices. There's always there's
always a better choice of doing things,
It's so delicious though, see? People love it. They love when they see the snacks. We got a coffee maker in there, the whole 9 yards. So yeah, people love that. And it kind of puts them at ease. And people actually have fun during training.
His training classes are fun. I actually took both his both BLS and ACLS under him, and it was, I said, perhaps the best training that I have received.
She came in all undercover, like she was just another nurse. She didn't say nothing about who she was. Nothing. She let me go through the whole class.
Sure did.
I was like, oh man, good thing I had my hat on that day.
I didn't say nothing.
She didn't say nothing until the very end. She goes, you know what? I normally don't give evals or reviews, but here you go. And it was quite the compliment. So thank you for that compliment. I do take pride in training and taking it seriously and offering the latest in technology for people. I know that when you come for even the basic to the advanced courses, if you're taking a class, you coming in here nervous. You're coming in here, intimidated.
Was I nervous?
Nah, you were all the secret, quiet in the corner kind of person.
I was like, let me check this out.
And I was throwing things at her, and she'd pick them up and catch them, and I'm like, okay, she knows her stuff. But people come in here a little intimidated sometimes, but as soon as they hit the door and the jokes start flying, people have a good time, and everyone kind of relaxes. And then, with all the simulators and props, all this stuff that I've invested in to help people grasp this, people appreciate it. So
You did a great job in investing in the right equipment,
Yeah,
and the community
I
is
think
going
so.
to benefit from it. They will
Yeah.
benefit from it.
Brian and I, when we started this 6 years ago, we started out basic and just grew, and we made good choices. And we wanted to do the things that we felt were important during training. So, going back to your quality of training, I wanted to bring up a point. If you're looking to get training and you're not local, then by all means, contact the place that you're looking into. Do some research, just like you're going to do research on the hospitals. Do some research on the people that you're going to invest your money into to have train you. Ask them questions. What do you have? You know, how long is your class? That's a really good question to ask people, because the American Heart Association has set guidelines and standards of how long these classes are supposed to be, what you're supposed to see, and what you're supposed to do. And a lot of these fly-by-night, you know, out of the back of your van places.
Danny in the white van.
Yeah, they don't abide by these guides or these rules, and they unfortunately will get away with it. And it's just doing a disservice to the end result, which is the person who needs help, and you, because then you're standing there looking silly. So ask questions. Ask them about. We have a unique policy here that anyone who, for you, example, you have a current ACLS card.
Right.
So at any time, if any student that takes any class here wants to come back to refresh or sit in a class, they can at any time
To retrain.
during that 2-year period. They can come back for free, zero cost, just to get refreshed. And I actually have a large handful of people that take advantage of that. They'll be the new grad nurses that take ACLS and they get through it, but they don't quite see it all the time, and they want to come back and refresh. And then sit them in the back. I got a couch in the back. They'll sit back there and just observe and interact.
And there are algorithms, and some people don't know what ACLS stands for. You want to tell them?
ACLS is American Heart Association's class for advanced cardiac life support. It involves your basic life support, your CPR, your ventilation, your airway management. It talks about ECG and interpretation. It talks about drugs, what drugs to give during a code. Behind you is probably the most utilized algorithm, which is the cardiac arrest algorithm, and it outlines easy and informative ways to get through your code. And when we go through this ACLS class, you also have to perform mega codes.
Yeah.
Which can be very intimidating to people, you know, like your average everyday nurse who may not be involved with codes. They come to class because they're required to have it, and they're like, hey, I don't do this all the time. But when they come here, there's no stress. You sit, we talk, you practice, you get confident, you get comfortable, and we just run codes as if we're in the hospital.
In the hospital.
Yeah. We have all the equipment, so it's very helpful.
You want to show them your strips again?
It's very beneficial to people's learning environment.
No, he didn't know what he didn't know what kind of nurse I was. He just found out this today. What does that say?
Yeah. She snuck in all sly, thought she was being slick.
And then I came in, I put on this. He was like,
well,
it says critical care transport nurse for those who can't see it. Yeah, I'm the nurse that's in the back of somebody's.
If you got to go to one hospital to another, I actually did it too. That was so the ACLS class will run scenarios, and we'll give you, hey, your patient is doing. Actually, this is kind of what it looks like. This is our mega code room that you guys are in.
Yeah.
So we'll have a patient, and we'll give you a scenario. And
atropine,
your treatment, right? Your treatment should be along the lines of the algorithm, and as soon as you do it, it progresses on to get worse.
That's straight. how to do CPR.
So that's better.
Yeah, that
So
one's gone. So you guys got to see.
that's your ACLS, and it's fun. It's interactive. It's stressful, but it's a lot of material. Most people leave here way more comfortable. They don't leave here being masters of the content, but at least when they come to the next code, they are confident and know what's coming next.
They can step in.
And they're like, yeah, oh, he's probably going to ask for this. So let me get this ready.
Mhm.
We're going to need to intubate this guy. Let me get airway ready. So like things get streamlined and they're not as intimidated and frightened by it. So that's one of my favorite classes I like teaching.
Sounds like you guys.
What a great class. We are, oh yeah, we didn't even talk about it. But again, this is not a big commercial to promote
No,
myself.
we're not. But then again,
all right.
let's be honest.
So primarily our focus here is to get the word out, to get trained, to understand what to do during an emergency,
Mhm.
understand the importance of CPR, get trained. If you're local in Southern California, I would leave it at that.
Okay.
I'm specifically in Huntington Beach, but if you're in Southern California, then you can look me up. It's Surf City in Emergency Medical Education, surfcitycpr.com specifically. We have classes all week, Saturdays as well. I've even had to start doing night classes. I think you came to a night class.
Yeah, I came to a night class.
Yeah, so I've had to start doing night classes, and you know we're busy, but the instructors I have teaching here are all experienced. They've either taught for a long time or they've been in the field, which the majority have. So my background is 26 years in emergency medicine.
Someone said, okay, you can put the logo splash back up. Exactly. I mean,
The battery died.
I told
Sorry.
you, but I told you, my supporters, we keep it real with each other.
I know. Here.
There you go.
All right. All our mannequins are well dressed. I actually got new shirts coming. I'm putting hoodies on all the mannequins. Zip up hoodies because it's easy to expose the chest and it protects the head when we transport to go train at other facilities.
That's true.
So I got that.
It's kind of scratched
look.
up. And we also wanted to tell you, please buy those blood pressure cuffs.
Yeah.
They're important. You know, it should be like a spoon, a fork, and a thermometer in your home. You really want to purchase a blood pressure cuff. He's on YouTube. I mean, he's on Instagram at that name as well, Surf City CPR. And
underscore CPR, because there's a couple out there. So be careful. Surf City underscore CPR. My daughters run that page. They do a great job posting updates and informational posters that we have from American Heart Association. They do a great job, and they're active. They told me I shouldn't be doing this without an Instagram page. So I've listened, and they were right. And hopefully you guys will go. Yeah, I know. It's like, you have to have it. And I'm like, well, I don't have time for all that. And they're like, well, we'll do it. Okay. So yeah, I've been blessed with some. Thank you.
There it is.
Sam.
And I'm on Instagram as NoSalBP. It's NoSalBP. And my website is nosaltbp.org. There you will find information related to heart attack care, stroke, how to identify them, what the care is going to look like, diabetes, congestive heart failure, and of course, high blood pressure.
All the things you get from eating a bag of chips.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Why would I?
Yeah, so I started watching your channel about the meals that you were cooking. And those look pretty good, actually. I haven't followed the recipe yet, but I think
I will be putting something up this week.
That is, yeah, I hope so.
Something that
Because
you.
I think your followers are like, hey, where you been?
You told me not to read the comments. You must. All right. Does anyone have any questions?
Yeah, this is open forum at this point.
Thank you, Sam. I am. That's exactly what it is. I'm also on Facebook at No Salt BP and X. It is now. It was Twitter the last time I was here. No Salt BP.
I don't have that.
So I'm on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. I promise you guys, I will not stay away so long. You know what was going on with this worldwide health crisis?
Mm.
The kid is back. Okay.
Nice. Yeah, training got weird during COVID times.
Oh.
It drastically changed. We didn't close, and ooh,
Yes,
that's right.
The panorama.
That's right. The recent medical issue we had as a nation changed our training drastically. But some places ended up having to close. Some training facilities had to close, and some expanded. So
I had to do mine online.
Online was weird.
Ugh, that was weird.
American Heart really kind of was very fluid in their requirements too. They gave extensions to people that were going to expire during that time, and then they offered to the instructors, hey, if you're needing to move to an online format, you can do so, but here are the guidelines, which I didn't participate in because part of those was, if you need an online Zoom class, we can do it, but I have to mail you a mannequin and watch you do the compressions.
It was weird.
I'm never going to get Preston back if I send him out.
Start sending out those mannequins.
As soon as they see the new high-tech ones, yeah.
So, guys, it's Thursday. You can look for me to drop a brief video on Sunday. And as always, I thank you for joining us tonight. You had many other places you could have been, and yet you chose us. And so on that, I will see you all later.
Thanks for interacting with us. And if there are any questions or you want more information, you can always contact myself and find us on surfcitycpr.com.
Oh, thank you, Awakened Queen. She said, I love this channel.
We'll do more.
We'll do more.
Yeah,
we'll do
sure.
more. We're going to do more content together. So that you guys actually see how a medical or how basic CPR is done.
Yeah,
we can show you that.
Maybe if you guys have any suggestions of what you would want to see us do,
drop it in the comments.
Drop it in the comments or the chat, and we'll put it together.
Okay, sure. Thank you all so much for coming. And next time I'll make sure that I only put up one live stream. You can tell I've been away for a while. Anyway, have a great evening, and I'll see you guys soon. See you in the dollhouse, dolls. And by the way, this is my channel. We're the students and the scholars of Health University. So we're the students and the scholars.
That's right.
I will see you soon. Good night.
Bye, everyone.
Oh my goodness, I don't think that one.
That didn't work. I said green light still.
Let's see.
And
End stream. There we go. Good night.